Yeah, I mean, I remember visiting Latvia, I think it was, but we obviously have a presence in all three states over 10 years ago as the commander of operations. And we'd begun to do Baltic air policing way back then for very good reason. One, the Baltics were somewhat vulnerable in where they are located. They don't have an air force of their own with air combat aircraft. So we've been doing the Baltic air policing for some time. What, of course, has changed more recently is a more proactive policing role across the whole of that eastern flank, Poland, Romania, Hungary, etc. So there have been changes which have been slowly but steadily occurring, primarily, obviously, because of what's been going on in Ukraine and how Russia has been behaving. If we were to go through that decade, I would say the first 7 years of that decade were relatively stable. The last three have clearly been affected by the war in Ukraine and the stark relief that brings everything into. And I would say the last year has been brought into stark relief, because of the change in America and the concern, therefore, how much effort we can expect America to put into Europe, or the European part of NATO. And of course, very, very recently, the provocation of Russian drones and aircraft into the airspace. Now, I'm sure we'll come on to the event, but that's not wholly new. I mean, Russian aircraft have been flying in international airspace illegally. I use that word advisedly, but without squawking and without using their radio and without filing a flight plan. So they are a danger to the safety of the commercial air traffic in particular. So that's not unusual. They've been doing that for decades. But what we have seen recently is something far more serious. And one of the reasons we intercept aircraft in international airspace is because they're not visible, because they're not painting on radar through secondary response, and they're not filing a flight plan or talking on the radio. So we're there effectively to shadow them in order to maintain safe flight. But once they start crossing national boundaries, then they're definitely changing the rules.